Oh!
I think we're recording, guys.
Is it going? Oh, sweet. Let's go.
Well, yeah. Welcome back to Speaking Sporadically. This is episode 14.
June 21st,
Very
2021.
exciting. It's the day after Father's Day.
Yep.
Yes.
Happy
So
Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
everyone out there, yeah. Thank you guys for what you do. You mean a lot to a lot of us.
You mean everything to
Yeah,
everybody.
You mean everything to your kids.
Yeah,
So
even if you don't know them.
yeah. This is a pretty cool podcast for me because I'll probably tell all my, I feel like I'm talking to you guys because I hope you guys listen to this, but I feel like I'm talking to all my Merritt City, Buckeye Boys Staters right now. That's kind of the main thing we wanted to talk about in this episode. Luke went to Buckeye Boys State.
Yep, that was 2019. It's been 2 years ago already.
Yeah. Jeez.
Crazy.
But I think we can introduce ourselves first. I'm Jacob.
And it's Luke. And guess who's not here?
Guess who's not here?
Devin! Because Devin decided to go to Panama City this week instead.
Mr. Never Missed an Episode looks like
We broke that streak now. It only took 3 months to break that streak.
And know what Devin says? No excuses. No.
No excuses. Well, guess what?
You should have told us to FaceTime you, dude. Set up some time. We could have FaceTimed you, and we could have talked to you. You could have made it. But you chose, Devin. I'm talking to you right now. You chose not to be here.
It's so ironic.
Yeah.
It's the irony in that is just ridiculous.
And only Devin's going to know the irony, and that's the beauty of it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, the man literally just texted us. Like, no, we're not letting you.
Nope, not this time. It's not happening.
Yeah, but so I guess, Luke, if you want to begin with your, any memorable things from your Buckeye Boys State
Everything
experience.
from Buckeye Boys State, I'll probably send the podcast link to my people from Zulch. Ira, if you're listening, he's pretty good counselor out there. I know he'll be listening once I send it out to a bunch of people. But
yeah. Ira was the gentleman that did the backflip and did all the back handsprings. Because
athletic.
Yeah, very athletic.
He's just a very athletic person.
Cool guy.
Actually, so we'll just start off with some of my stories. Yeah. Ira did not want to go to Buckeye Boys State when he went the first time. His mom was like, "You're gonna go. I'm making you go. You don't want to go." And he's like, "Ugh, Mom, do I have to go? Buckeye Boys State's stupid. I don't even want to go."
Mm-hmm.
That was 9 years ago.
Now
he's gone as a counselor every year after.
Still involved in
Still involved. It's like Boy Scouts on a different level.
Yeah.
People who don't want to be involved in 8 years of their life being a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ira, super cool guy though. He's always there for you if you need him, and he does TikTok. He has a TikTok out there too somewhere. I don't know what it's called, but he's just a good guy. But I think honestly, a lot of the people there though are just high tier, high quality people.
Amazing people they know how to lead. They know how to be inspirational, but they're also funny, great people that you could just sit down and have a genuine conversation with. My counselor, Devin, great guy. At the beginning of the week, he had to set up the ground rules, but he always had this funny quote. He would say, "I can be a bro, but I could also be a dictator. And it's up to you guys."
You know what he should have said instead of that? I can be a bro, but I could also be a hoe. Oh my gosh.
Oh, but yeah, Devin was just awesome counselor, and then also we had 3 other counselors: Joe, Jason, Cameron. Awesome guys.
Oh, the other counselors from the county?
No, we had 4 city counselors.
What?
Yeah, so we had our city. I want to call him a leader. But he also always referred to the other guys as sectionals, so our sectional leader. But they were always with us. They stayed on the floor, and then each city had 2 legionnaires.
In the building as well?
Not in the building. They didn't stay in the building at all times, but they came for our nightly meetings.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think we had legionnaires come every night.
Well,
I could be mistaken.
There was probably a big difference between yours and ours.
Just because.
Do you remember how many cities and counties you guys had?
There was 3 cities to every county, and there was 9 or 10 counties or something like that.
That is a huge change. We only had 672 guys.
Whoa.
3 cities in 4 counties.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
About 50 guys per city.
That's easily 50% cut.
Yeah. Because I think the original number they said was a little over 1,200 originally.
Yeah, that's half. That's a half cut. You're lucky you made the cut then at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, and then the cut was, I guess, if you want to say cut in half again, because then this year it was divided between
the people who wanted to go last year.
people who wanted to go last year, but it got canceled. So it was like pretty much if you had already qualified, you were reached out to and said,
do you still want to go?
Do you still want to go?
This is the week. This is the dates.
I don't know if they were able to go through the interview process again. At least from our legion, you had to have been selected last year to be offered to go again this year. But I don't know if it was different in other legions. So I guess
bet it was the same.
That made it a little bit
Interesting.
It may be the same, really, but that made it even more difficult to attend. And so, yeah, I mean, the experience I had was just absolutely phenomenal. The first couple days, you're all like, oh, this is cool, working hard to get elected and stuff, really getting to know people, which that's the nice part about the elections is you really get to know a lot of people because from a campaigning perspective. But then you
just gotta talk to people and try to work the crowd as much as possible.
But then you start getting like your friends there, and you start to get to know everybody. And at the end of every day, right? Because here's our daily structure, right? You got
up at like 6 a.m.
Wake up at 6 a.m. Line up at 6:25 to be at breakfast. And pretty much every single minute of your day, you had something going on.
Scheduled.
All the way down to stuff was like you had a lineup where we would just line up in the hallways. We'd do a little roll call, make sure we have everyone. But it wasn't roll call. It was we would count off in a line, and the fun thing our counselor did is he would say, "Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair," because how Ric Flair would always go, "Woo!" You know that?
Yeah, I do.
So he'd yell 2 claps and a Ric Flair, and we would all do our 2 claps and a Ric Flair and quiet down so you could count. So
Iro did a similar idea, but he said, I forget. Iro, I'm sorry, I don't remember what you said. It was, like. He said some phrase, and we always had to respond with something else, and it was pretty much like quiet down, like I'm talking now.
But it was like a chill way of doing it, because no one wants to be like,
"Hey yo, shut up!"
Hey, yo, shut up. That's annoying. But when you can do this little thing, and then you just
everybody just does it back, and it's like okay,
and be attentive after
easy.
that. It's nice.
Yeah,
and I mean you get the yell, so it kind of gets your talking out of you.
Yeah,
but we modified it later in the week till we made it to 2 claps and a she.
A sheesh. Sheesh. Nice. No. Gotta get the low sheeshes in. Sheesh.
No, Luke.
It's not the same?
Yeah, it's not the same.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Nah,
yeah, now you just don't sound into
You don't sound like a,
yeah.
You don't sound like a pack of wolves.
Alright.
That's what counselor said we sounded like at, scout camp. Every time the kids did it, I sound like a freaking pack of wolves.
That is weird.
But,
yeah, so, I mean, while I was at Buckeye Boys State, Luke was at scout camp.
Which I think we'll get into when Devin decides to return to the pod, because he was there for some pretty crazy shenanigans, honestly.
Yeah, if Devin can ever come back from his vacation.
Yeah, whatever.
Like,
taking a week off, disgusting.
Yeah, he takes a full week off, and, like, we look at it and we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to make so many pods, like, a full week off work, and he's like, no, guys, I'm leaving. And I don't want anything to do with the pod. That's what he told us, pretty much.
Pretty basically, I mean... He's like, yo, do it yourself. Like, I'm on vacation. It's like so we're just kind of doing whatever we want now.
Yeah.
The boss is out of town. Like, we're just vibing now.
We're just chilling.
Chilling, bro.
But, yeah, so every night we would have city meetings. And the city meetings started off like you would, like, they were really educational because they had to teach us how the whole program worked and everything. And we were figuring a lot of stuff out. And then, the city meetings kind of became a time of bonding where, like, we would be able to talk to everyone and all that. Sorry, messing with my phone. We'd be able to talk to everyone and kind of learn their stories and all this. And, we got really close. And then we started having tab meetings out in the lobby. Like, everyone would just show up and we would just all talk and chill and, like, listen to music and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, our city was, we've been texting all day on our group chat, our TAB group chat, and talking about stuff, showing each other, like, our dogs that we had talked about on all of our houses that we have mentioned, and, my boys Will, 5% Limousine Tent, he sent us a cool video of that.
Sir.
He sent us some cool skating videos.
Tent gang, baby. Come on.
Yeah. My boy Bryce showed us his turkeys. Yeah, makes turkeys.
Turkeys are cool.
He ran me through it all. Like, all of his siblings and his parents raised, like, a different little group of animals. So they have, like, a livestock market.
They basically are Old McDonald's farm.
Yeah. And I'm excited for Bryce because his turkeys, he has to come up our way, like to where he's like 20 minutes out. You know, like every, season when they're all grown and stuff, and he butchers them because he has to bring them to a certain butcher's market. So I'm like, yeah, Bryce, you got to swing by sometime. He's like,
swing up. Go get some owls.
Yeah.
Go get some owls food, bro.
And there's another kid I met from Piqua. So, hang out with him.
When I went, I had 2 kids who were, I had one who lived just a town over and like literally, but 2 of them lived within 20 minutes of me. And I still see the one relatively regular because he dates somebody in the grade below me. So I see him very often.
There was one kid that was from a town close to us that I didn't know, and I got to know him. And then there's another kid that I knew previously entering, and so that was pretty cool. He was inner city. But 4 of our classmates went. So Isaiah went to Buckeye Boys State, and hopefully Isaiah's going to be showing up after this segment.
He should be here in the next 10-ish minutes. So he might be on the back end of this segment, or he's just going to be on the next segment.
But so because Isaiah has this whole stories and everything to tell with it
as well.
But we were completely we were in the same county but different cities. So yeah.
Same county, really?
Same county out of the 4.
That's
yeah.
But I just gotta say, I don't know how your food was, or like what you guys had going on. I figure it was just kind of like whatever areas of the campus were open for eating.
Ours was really, because of Corona, ours was very structured this year. So we had time frames, and people had to serve us the food.
We even had, so we still had like buffet. We did buffet style.
Ours was still buffet.
And it was still trash. All the food on campus they served with trash. So gotta give another big shout out to one of my city mates, or whatever you want to call him. Townie? He's one of my townies.
City boys? I
don't know. When his mom came up, and his mom was in town like Friday, and we were by that time of the week, like we're over halfway through the week. We're like, we need some real food. This woman, his mom, being the G she is, shows up with grocery bags full of food. I'm talking, the peanut butter and jelly that's mixed in one jar, loaves of bread, variety packs of the chips. She probably came with like $50 to $75 worth of like good food, like grubs. We were grubbing. We went through the first set in probably the first like 2 or 3 hours. We annihilated that. He freaking texts his mom again. Hey, we ate it all. She pulls up the next day with another round. We still crushed it all.
Yeah.
She pulled up with another round though. It was ridiculous.
Dude, our food was
so good.
Our food was not bad.
Like, it wasn't bad, but like, I feel like we were still.
The only flavor you had in it was salt.
Yeah, which is
And all the meat they served was chicken. Like it was just different forms of chicken.
But it was all pretty well much the same.
Yeah, it was all chicken.
It's all chicken, bro. I mean, chicken good, but it's not that good.
There was one day, like I think like three of the mornings they had, and you could tell they were made that morning. They had a French toast, like out of store-bought eggs, and it was phenomenal. Like French toast.
It's like made at home almost.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, it was amazing. Like it was so good at our evening meetings. We started chanting French toast.
Just
out of appreciation of the Miami dining staff
making French toast. That's legit.
And then the other day, it seemed kind of hit or miss, but they made meatloaf. And it tasted just like my family meatloaf. Like, it was so good. I'm a lover of meatloaf.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It's not my first pick, personally.
It was phenomenal. Like, it was flavor-filled.
Flavor-filled?
Yes. Absolutely beautiful meatloaf.
Wow.
But I guess I'll get into, like, the election process a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because I'm a big boy.
Anyone from that knows me, in lower grades, dude, definitely consider going to Buckeye Boys State. Because, I mean...
Consider it. I wouldn't even say consider it.
Yeah, like
sign up to go.
Get it in your mind to go, and you can take the approach of like studying and figuring a lot of stuff out and what you want to do to it. The week
you can have a lot of fun with it,
or you can just wing it.
Just like don't think you're too cool to go.
Yeah,
like don't get caught up. Like I say it all the time. Don't get caught up on what everyone else is doing because, matter of factly, they're probably not having as much fun as you are. You probably have more fun, have more experiences than just a loss of memory.
Yeah, like
you get what I'm saying.
I look back to it and I'm like, well, I can like so many memories I can pick out of things that, I talked to people about or we did, like so much awesome stuff. And then I think back, what happened in Old Larmy? Not much.
Nothing.
I would
really,
go again.
Nothing really changed.
Yeah.
For a whole week, maybe somebody died. And about all that happens.
Jeez.
I
Not
mean,
like a murder. We're talking like natural death.
like
here.
just
Like
you
someone just
know,
passes
old
away.
person, old. They just died of natural causes.
Yeah.
It's usually about the most interesting thing that happens most weeks.
But
you know, we were from a town of like 2,000 people, 2,500 max.
Isaiah was telling me the story. In their city, they all had to say how many stoplights they had, right? And people are like 500, 70, in the 80s, 90s, 125. They were looking it up, and Isaiah holds his hand up. He's like, "We have 2."
Oh my god!
And
You almost look at him though.
it was weird because
Ridiculous.
his city was about a 70-30 spread. 70% all city, like huge big city guys,
And then 30%
small
That's
towners.
a lot, honestly.
Ours was a complete switch. Like we were like 80% rural, and then about 20% city guys.
Wow.
So that
I
was
had mostly city guys. I know there was only maybe a couple other guys who were from like remote or obscure towns in the middle of nowhere.
I walked in like telling people that I was from such a small town, like because it's kind of interesting. Like like I just would be like, yeah, my grade only has 64 kids in it, and they're like, wow,
You got
mine has
64 kids?
Yeah, and they would
I
just
got
be
like 30, bro.
Wow, I got 50. I'm like, what? You guys are all from small towns too? But then it was also cool to talk to the guys from the city, hear about their experience of like
1,200 kids.
1,200 kids in a class.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Like a lot. Like I could not imagine not knowing like at least like knowing a face.
That's the
for every
thing.
single person in your grade.
That's the thing I would talk to them about. Like, yeah, I know every single last name, half of their middle names, and their first names of every single kid in my grade. I'm like, dang.
That's crazy. I don't even know like a third of the first names.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. But I mean, it's cool to hear their experiences.
Something different.
Yeah,
it's different than what you've experienced, and that's what I always enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the most, anyways. It's like they're from different parts of the freaking state. I mean, they're from all over, and Ohio is so diverse in like landscape and how people act. Like people from that are like on the Pennsylvania, like West Virginia border are so like much more country and like rural, and like it's more like a Kentucky vibe compared to where we're from, West Central Ohio. It's plains, it's farms, it's we do about the same thing every weekend.
No mountains and
then you have your city people, and you have your people from Columbus, Cleveland. Like I knew somebody who's basically from the top northeast corner of Ohio. Like he goes and parties on the beach like every weekend, or he did anyways.
Yeah,
back in the day, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're from all over the place.
But so I guess I was going to walk you guys through my election process and how that went for me.
We probably got
personally.
time for that, don't we?
Oh, for sure.
We've only been at this for like 17 minutes, so.
So for me, I didn't really like pre-study, I guess. Like I was just had a really busy 2 weeks like leading up to this camp. So I was just like going in there. I was like, yeah, I'll have fun. Because I talked to Luke, you about it, and you said you just kind of winged it and enjoyed it.
Just kind of went for it. I didn't know a whole lot about it. I was just kind of like, oh, we'll go.
That's why I was going to learn. And so I was kind of like the first day, like that Sunday, I had no idea what I was going to do. Like still didn't even know after they talked about all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, we start campaigning tomorrow. Like you should already know. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Oh no.
So I show up and we elect our city councilman and all that. And I ran for a delegate. I didn't get it, so I wasn't too like put away for that. But I asked her, so I kind of decided that Sunday night I was going to figure out what I wanted to do by Monday morning. So I slept on it, and then I decided I wanted to be the county prosecuting attorney. That's what I wanted to run for. I was going to put all my efforts into that because I really wanted to get an elected position and go through the whole thing of running a campaign. Because you could go to the store, so there's a lot to go into from that perspective. But I'll get into that later. So I asked my city councilman, my boy Cook, and I'm like, bro, you think you could like nominate me at the Deweese County Caucus? He's like, oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He nominated me, gave my speech, and I got the vote from the caucus. And I will say, Merritt City, we may have just had the biggest city, but like any time, like we had loyalty, bro. Because this was our
loyalty to the city, man.
Loyalty to the city, bro.
That's how it was when we elected our sheriff for our county. He was from our town. We're like, Rud. Everyone just voted for him. It made it easy.
11 out of the 15 county positions were nominated from our city for our party. So once you get there, they randomly put you into two parties, the Federalist Party and then the Nationalist Party. and I was a nationalist, blue badge nationalist, and then there's the yellow badge feds. But I mean, it went city and then party. Like, you didn't really like when you were voting for someone in your party, you didn't even care, or for your city, you didn't even care what your party was. That was kind of fun. So I won the nominee position, so I got to be put on the ballot, right? And then later that same day, we had a thing with the entirety of our county. So both parties were there, because the caucus is just one party, right? You're picking your party nominee, and the caucus is just a different way. Like, in presidential elections, they'll have primaries. Yeah. And for like other
they have caucuses. Some states have caucuses. And some others have primaries and more traditional elections versus a caucus.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think Mr. Pranger, don't hate on me. Oh.
Yeah,
Which one goes first? Which one goes first? It's
he talked
Iowa?
to us. He talked to us all.
Is it Iowa?
Iowa and Maine is what I remember.
I think it's Iowa and Maine. Iowa caucus and the main primary are like the first two. Like, they always kick off like elections and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So we had that, and then so later in the day we had our whole entire county go, and this was at 4:00, right, on that Monday. So we just got there the day prior, and you're already giving your final speech to 200 people in a county, or 150 in a county, to run for like what you want to do the entire week. So I went up there, gave my speech, and I thought I did pretty good and stuff. And then it was campaigning time. So Buckeye Boy State's allots you
like $500 or something.
$600 is how much we got. $600, and then I talked to my county chairman, which was Camden. I talked to him, and he's allowed to give up to 10 $300 donations, and he wrote me a check for $300. And I'm like, oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So I went down to the mini mall and the campaigning store, and for 5 sheets of paper, it cost you $100. So I bought 10 sheets of paper, and I just wrote like, vote for Jacob, Deweese County prosecuting attorney. Just wrote that a bunch of times.
Put it all over your county.
Put it all over my county, so your county is a dorm room, but not necessarily, right? So there was a dorm room signs that was probably like a 10-minute walk away from our dorm room, and that's where 2 of the cities from our county was. And then I was dormed in Presidents, and that's where the one city was from Deweese, and then the other city was from Wagon Cellar, I believe. I can't.
Wagon Cellar.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Our county names were Deweese, Wagon Cellar, Welsh,
Welsh,
and another W one. It's not Waite, because Waite was another city. I'm blanking on it.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no.
I mean, I know none of the guys I'm going to directly text about this are from that 4th county, but if you are listening to this, I apologize. But anyways, so the next day, Tuesdays, right? Well, we have to go to our state caucus for nominating who we want to run for the state position. So I'm talking like state auditor, the governor, lieutenant governor, the treasurer,
all the big things,
secretary
all the
of
big
state,
names,
all those big names. So we voted those guys in, and the person that won from our Nationalist Party was Sam Miller, and he ended up getting second in the actual governor election. So then the next day, Tuesday, that's voting day, you know. So we had our first line and rundown of voting for the city and county positions. And later that night, starting at like 10 o'clock, we had our city caucus, and he elected all the people we wanted to run for the city positions. So that was pretty cool, like from each party. And then we voted for our cities. So the first round of voting was for all the cities and county positions. And I ended up winning my county position. I think it was a vote of 82 to 63. I won against my other guy. It was kind of a mess up because when it first read off, it said that we were both disqualified from the election. Because for this position, you had to pass the Buckeye Boy State bar exam, which it was an open book. You were allowed to use
an open book test. I always heard it was really hard.
Did you take it?
I did not.
It was really hard.
I heard it was like really hard.
You had to get a 42 out of 50, which, if my math lines up,
that's an 84%.
That's an 84% on a test. The first time I took it, I got a 40, right? Okay. And he writes down 40 out of 50. I'm like, that's definitely the passing number. And then he writes fail. I'm like, what? So I had to take this thing again and had to take a whole different test. And the whole thing was true and false, but it was actually over real stuff. And your only resource was the Ohio Digest, which is it's like the Ohio Constitution's in there, but it also talks about how all the positions are held at city and county level, situations. So that was pretty cool. But took that, passed it, got my star, and then when it was announced, they said that both runners were disqualified. They said that I won the vote, but I was disqualified. I'm like, why? And they're like, probably because you didn't pass your bar. And I'm like, yeah, I did pass my bar. I have the sticker right here on my name tag. They give you a little sticker if you pass. So it turns out the other guy did not pass his bar or didn't attempt to pass it. I don't know if he failed it or if he just didn't attempt. And then, I won the prosecuting attorney position. So that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. That's like one of the better positions, up there. Except maybe being in legislation. It's probably one of the hardest positions to get that doesn't involve doing work before you get there.
Talking about the bills that we passed is going to be so cool because, our House guys and our Senate guys that we sent from our city were just awesome.
Funny.
Yeah.
Funny people.
Funny. And then I had to, this was a really stressful thing for me. I had to find someone that also passed the bar exam to be my deputy prosecuting attorney. So, the guy that's going to work under me. And I could barely find someone until we go to the bar exam meeting the next day. So, they called it continuing education. So, all the people that did pass the bar exam had to go to Farmer and have, a class, I guess, which was needed because none of us ever had done, judicial services before. So my boy Isaiah, actually, he just pulled in. What's up, dog?
Doing good.
All right, now quiet down. I got
quiet down now. Quiet.
Hey.
Quiet.
Give the boys a little rattle.
Breath mints. Gentlemen.
So
people gotta hate us.
I wasn't too familiar with the court systems. There was a ton of guys that were, the people that ran for the Supreme Court positions were obviously really familiar. And then I nominated my boy. I was walking out of the building, and I saw my boy from my city, because I had to nominate someone within the county, but I would rather nominate someone in the city that I'm tied with. And I see my boy Christian Buckler. He's cruising out. I'm like, yo, Christian, bro, you got a job yet? And he's like, nah, man, I thought I was going to find a job here. And I'm like, come here and shake my hand, brother. You're hired. So he was my deputy prosecuting attorney, which our job was pretty hard because there was an office over at Bishop and then an office at President's, which is about 15-minute walk.
Yeah, it's far.
And I had to have a guy, either me at the county office or at the President's, which is where all the courtrooms were. Mm-hmm. I had to have a guy in each place all the time, which was hard because some stuff we were confused and wanted to talk to each other and work together on it. So we were calling each other up all the time, trying to communicate and playing things out. One of us would go here in the morning, then afternoon we would go
do this, that
in the afternoon. And
honestly, you couldn't go if you didn't have a phone. You totally need a phone to communicate with people.
And he made everyone get on the Remind, and we had a whole city Remind, which is cool because
so many notifications.
Yeah,
our city had
probably 15 a day, which is cool. So I'm probably gonna go through and reread those sometime and get sad and be like, my boys. But we always have our city group chat that we can talk to. What?
Just.
Did you tell him I went to? I don't know if you did.
Yeah, we did. I said you have a really cool story from the Purple Heart story. I said you have a really cool story. We want to tell them after we're
almost at break time.
Yeah, we're almost at break time for a
We've been
segment.
doing at this for a while now.
But
I just didn't want them to be confused if I chimed in or something.
Yeah.
Chimed in or whatever.
Yeah, but
Chiped
in.
Our group chat is still going super strong.
Dude,
bro,
ours
my
is
group
too.
Chat's still going super strong from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My boys from Zulch love each other.
We're literally we have already planned up that we're gonna meet at Top Golf sometime.
Top Golf? That's the choice?
Yeah. And we said we're probably gonna meet in Columbus because it's central, and my boy from Columbus was like, I'm down.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah.
We tried to plan the same thing and it just didn't work out. I couldn't go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we tried to plan something.
You couldn't go, or most people
I couldn't go. I couldn't go. I don't know if they actually did it or not.
Oh.
I think they did. I think a few people that are pretty close, people who are only an hour north. Someone from my city was from, I forget what the name is. My boy, I forget what his name is. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Obviously been too long.
I'll finish up my little prosecuting attorney story after this, but I will leave you guys with this real quick before I break. If my guys from Merritt City fail me and we don't meet up, I will be heartbroken, guys. I expect this so much.
Bro, we need these people to listen to the pod to boost our numbers up.
Yo, I'm putting that on my group chat.
Oh, I'm for
It's
sure.
going on my group chat.
I've already told a couple of guys,
Yeah, I said it too.
But I'm going to tell them to listen to this episode specifically.
Yeah. A lot of guys that...
Episode 14.
Yeah. A lot of guys that I got close to were all southern or like southwestern Ohio.
Ooh.
So, but like pretty far.
That's pretty far. I think it's like a 2-hour drive.
I know,
Like
like
your old-
15-minute drive from
like
Kentucky.
Cincinnati, like suburbs of Cincinnati and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they're all really close together, and I'm sitting up here. But I don't know.
That's fine.
I mean, as long as you stay in touch.
All of our guys were like a perfect even spread around Ohio, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, we'll be back in just a couple seconds. I love Nestle Crunch. Alrighty.
Oh my god.
That's a shout out to my Merritt City
I
boys.
can't believe I got talked into doing that.
They'll know the vibe for show.
For sure.
So yeah, I
We're
guess yeah, we're back.
It's been like 20, 30 minutes.
yeah, for
already.
us it's been like 20 minutes. For you guys, it's been like 3 minutes.
3
But
minutes. That's like 30 seconds.
For you guys, it's been like 1 minute.
Maybe a minute.
Maybe.
Maybe they took a quick snack break or something.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe they
okay,
paused it. Maybe they
okay,
paused it,
okay.
went to the bathroom, freshened up, got their next bag of popcorn. You know.
Another bag. Bro. Okay, whatever. We don't. No hate here.
Yeah. So we're joined by now our boys.
Isaiah is here, as you know.
And Isaiah, like we said,
Was
attended
looking at his
Buckeye Boys
phone.
State. And then we have Trey.
What's up?
He did not go to Buckeye Boys State, but he is about to
Loser.
learn a lot about what he missed right now in this segment. So I guess, like I was saying, I was a prosecuting attorney, and I had a lot of fun court cases, and I mean, good time with all of them. I did a mock trial case in the Supreme Court, and then I had like 4 or 5 tickets that I defended. So like there was highway patrolmen that patrolled the roadways, which were the sidewalks of the campus, and you would get a ticket, right? And yeah, you would have to come into the court system, go in front of the judge, and argue your case and everything like that.
I'd like to add the highway patrolman. I know at least one of you from my city is listening. Y'all were terrible at your jobs.
Yes.
We were
Like,
told
I didn't even know
on-
the laws when I got pulled over twice within like 30 seconds. And both times I was like, what? Like these are highways now? I never knew this. And like, oh yeah, they are.
They're supposed to be marked and stuff by like the engineers, but
Yeah.
My entire city was told on Friday and Saturday to just go out and try to break as many laws as possible because the jails were bored. And y'all, you didn't show up. I didn't see a single one of you. Not once.
they're also probably trying to break laws.
No, because I kid you not, they busted like 90 guys on the first day. Like our court's office, my room was full of people flooding with tickets like, hey, I need you to prosecute. So like what a prosecuting attorney is, for people that don't know, I work for the state. The state is my client, so I try to, get people arrested, find evidence showing that people are guilty. There was a private law firm, so anyone a law firm called Baker Sierra. So that's where you worked, if you wanted to represent someone and you would get paid to defend someone. But I was pretty much always the plaintiff trying to get people arrested. So people would come in for me and be like, yeah, you got to prosecute this guy. It'd be like other elected county positions and officers and sheriffs or the highway patrolmen. So I worked with the highway patrolmen and I would do all that, but it was super fun. But the most famous case was this real awesome guy. He gets pulled over and like, what's stopping you from running? Thought this
Nobody.
man at the time. So he took off and ran. They stopped him, pulled him over again. He took off and ran again. It got to the point where there's 8 highway patrolmen surrounding my boy. And they gave him the ticket, wrote him all up, and they're like, all right, sign this ticket. He takes the ticket, like huddles in, like oddly. No one can see him. He signs it, hands it back. And he's like, sir, is your name These Nuts? Or did you just sign it that? So we got to watch that court case, and he definitely got arrested.
Absolutely.
I wonder why.
And then there was another really big case going on. This was called, by the public, it was named, did you watch this case, Isaiah? The Twinkie Dick case? Or,
I didn't watch.
You weren't-
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch like any cases.
you weren't involved in the court system.
I was a very busy man where I was.
Yeah, I was in the court system like most of my time, and the big famous case was the Twinkie Dick case. It was named that because there was a video of a guy just threw open his door to the dorm room, and his roommate was laying on his bed. He takes a Twinkie, whips it at my man, hits him right in the balls, and the guy charges him for assault.
Assault.
And he brings it to the court. And the reason he was found guilty easily, like obviously you would have to be found guilty. There's a video evidence for that. He was found guilty for doing it, but then he appealed to the Court of Appeals, at the state level, because they messed up something with the case, and it went to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals pretty much said this is not enough reasonable things to reverse this charge. But the Court of Appeals made a mistake too. I think they closed the door, so it was it prohibited his right to a fair and public trial. even though the door was glass and it was all recorded, but whatever, because that was discussed at the Supreme Court. So he appeals again, goes to the Supreme Court where he's finally found guilty, but this process lasted the entire week, and like all government processes are supposed to shut down on that Saturday at 4 o'clock, and that Supreme Court case literally started at 3 o'clock, ended at like 3:45. He was put in jail for this assault charge, and then he was just released because everything ended pretty much. So
Well
it was
played.
so funny.
Well played.
But it was funny because one of the, I don't know why, but the defendant at the Supreme Court case, he asked the Supreme Court justice, he's like, "Are you aware what the public's calling this case?" And he goes, "Yes, I believe this is being referred to as the Twinkie Dick case." It's just so funny.
Oh, that's great.
No, I didn't witness too many crimes. There was a lot of fraud
Yes.
on the last
Fraud's
day.
a lot of
Especially
fun.
for this man.
I worked. Everything I did was entirely legal. I can promise you that. But like on the last day in particular, I was going. So I was a city treasurer. So I worked with the budget and everything for like my specific city, which was nice. It was very engaging. I'm very glad I did it. But it was a lot of moving around from like the city offices, the county offices, to the state offices, and then to the banks. We had a lot of places to go. It was basically like a circle around the entire allotted.
You must have
campus
done
for
a
Boise
lot
State.
of
Yeah. It was a lot
miles
of-
there,
But
bud.
there's
was a lot of
definitely some
walking.
days that I probably got 8 miles.
Yeah,
10
it was
miles
a lot of
walking
walking
in.
and a lot of sweating too. But anyways,
Yeah, for my I don't want to interrupt, but for some of my court cases, I had to wear suits, bro. Oh, trekking in a suit was god awful.
I wore a suit every single day because we had evaluations for the city every single day.
At your city board meetings.
Yep, city council meetings, we had evaluations every day for the state flag, which, by the way, back-to-back champs.
Yeah.
Got it on the last day, which is like especially prestigious, so
We won the city flag on
pretty
the
nice.
on the first day. We won the city flag. The Minas, they were in the same county, and we got the Dubski on the first day, winning the
I
county
was going to
flag.
say, Merritt and Chuck, like, probably
We
top.
ran the town.
Yeah, we were pretty dang good.
We were good.
We could have, combined, we could have knocked, have you mentioned Bishop at all? Or no?
Yeah. No, I haven't talked to him, but Bishop was like, for no like true reason, like there was no bad people
They
there.
seemed like they were having
Yeah.
a great time.
Great time. Just no one liked Bishop for whatever reason. Like
They were,
after you tell your story, I'll tell the funny story about Bishop.
Okay.
And,
Anyways.
and the fourth county was called White County. I just remember that.
yeah, anyways, we were better than Bishop, by far. Merritt and Chuck. Yeah, because I was from Chuck City. Anyways, the last day, a lot of walking around, and particularly in the banks, when we had to go to the state auditor's office, there was a lot of talking within the state facilities about money and like vouchers and warrants, which I know like I don't know, it could be foreign to you, but basically it's the state giving money to a department or the department allotting money to something else. And money just kind of came out of nowhere a lot of the time. And I remember very clearly, I don't want to say he was a bad guy or anything, because I think he was a pretty cool guy, but on our walk from the State Department to the bank to cash in a voucher, which we might get to that later, we were walking with the Lieutenant Governor, and he showed us a voucher and didn't say anything about it, but he just showed it to us. And I was looking at it, and signatures, numbers, and stuff like that. I knew what I was reading, and then I gave it back to him, didn't think about it. Next 5 minutes came along, and I'm like, where did that money come from? So I asked him, he's like, oh yeah, I just like wrote it. So the lieutenant governor, the second highest position in the state, is just stealing money from the entire state government. And one of the neat factors about Buckeye Boys State is that the state government is one of the things that is carried over into the next year, like next program.
Yeah.
So the state's budget was like drained completely for the next year. So they're gonna have to figure something out to get that money back.
Yeah, I gave. So we had to make our fiscal period salary request for next year, and I requested $5,000 more for the boy who gets my salary
I was
next year.
gonna say you get paid like insane.
Oh yeah,
You're
I got paid $150,000.
I got paid $40,000 with so I was originally supposed to get paid $38,000. We gave everybody in our city a flat 5% increase, but then the second to last, so on the Friday, we were walking in the state departments to try to get a loan, for a state park, and then this man just walks up, says he was from the auditor's department, and writes out a check exactly my pay wage. So I got paid like $80,000 instead. I just got paid double for no reason.
Still
right.
a little bit below me, but you're doing good.
Yeah.
Just a
Whatever.
little bit.
I could have made mine like $500,000.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Dude, I don't
And
know.
didn't.
I don't know about you, but I never went to the bank and paid off my mortgage. So
No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ohm from my city, who's the president of the bank. What a G. Basically just said, there's no point. So
Don't
keep
I
your
didn't-
money.
But
Took
there's
out a loan
nothing
for
else to do with
$80,000,
your
never
money.
paid it back.
There's nothing else to do with your money except like pay your taxes and utilities. So.
Taxes, utilities, and
it was
that's
it was
pretty
pointless
much it.
unless you got like fined.
Or just writing checks out to people.
Yeah, unless you got fined.
unless you got fined.
Oh
Or
yeah.
paying
But
lawyers or
no,
whatever.
yeah, a lot of the money, the important places the money had to go was the city and state, and then a little bit of county. But county really
Yeah.
served, in my view, like my understanding, as like a middleman
Yeah.
from the transfer of money. So it wasn't too like pivotal.
See, the counties
there.
were like, the state really had nothing to do with the court system. They just had the Supreme Court.
right.
And then, like, obviously the cities didn't have really, they had law directors,
Yeah.
but that's it. But all the prosecutors and the lawyers were all, like, county level.
So yeah,
people.
county had the courts.
Yeah.
State obviously had like the loans, the funds, and then the cities had like
The implementation of
implementation,
all the
the
money.
day to day, and then they had like the city flags and stuff like that. Obviously, the counties had flags too, which I think everybody just got at once, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Everyone just got it one time.
But yeah, so one of the probably the coolest thing that I did in my week was on the last day. We decided, the auditor and I, who work like, auditor and treasurer work very closely together. Normally in the real world, they like have like a check and balance on each other, so like money can't be
It was laundered.
you can't commit fraud if there's an auditor and a treasurer, or at least it's very hard. But we basically just like work together to solve it because we didn't have anybody to like tell us what to do or help us figure it out when we started. So we just had paperwork and had to figure it out from there. And initially, before we got the paperwork, like after we got elected, we both agreed to just like try to commit as much fraud as possible, embezzle as much money as we could,
Yep.
and just like be the richest people in the Boys State. Did not happen as soon as we realized how much paperwork we had. The Hayden Hartman, the auditor, said, and I thought it was very fitting, we had to figure out how to do it right first in order to do it wrong. It took us until like the third day to figure out how to do it right.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time.
Like, no one really knew how to do their jobs swiftly and efficiently until the last day.
And I think the consensus I got from the counselors and legionnaires was like, that is every single year.
Yeah. That's
So,
kind of how we want it.
It's just how it works. Yeah, it's how it's supposed to be, which is
There's not supposed to be time to do illegal stuff unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
it's kind of bittersweet that like we got it up to that point, and that's probably a good stopping point, honestly. Otherwise, it would start to get boring.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you're not learning, you're just...
Yeah, and by that
You're
time,
just doing it's just
a lot
job
of people
then.
were tired, but
Oh, yeah.
we decided so it didn't get like real like boring and droning on for the last day. The auditor and I went to we went to the county, we went to the state departments, we went to the bank, like all back and forth for like 4 straight hours in the first day, in the first half of the last day, and we convinced everybody, including the governor himself, to allot.
Saxton.
Yes, sir. They allotted us $30 billion for an Ohio State satellite. And the state doesn't have $30 billion. They just don't. So what we actually had to do, and we figured it out in a way that was legal, and we actually consulted counselors and stuff to make sure. We figured out how to do it legally, and it was just like, write a check from Elon Musk. So like sign it Elon Musk for $30 billion, like the SpaceX program or whatever. Give it to like the auditor's office. They sign it off on it. The state auditor had to take it to the bank. And on those checks, you know how there's a PIN
Yeah.
for like the account it's being withdrawn from? We had to put the PIN that was the bank's loan account. So essentially the loan account is infinite because it gives out loans every
Yeah.
single year and the accounts don't change. So we drew $30 billion from an infinite account, so it didn't make a difference in the budgets. Mm-hmm. We withdrew it from there.
You're
They
just
approved
adding
it.
money to the budget then.
We're just adding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but technically it was all spent on a space station, so it didn't affect anything. So we did that, but
Well, and what was the purpose of this said space station again?
the only possible. So we actually spoke. Like once we talked to the governor the first time, he's a busy guy. Everyone understood that. So he's like, "Well, I'll be back in like 15 minutes." So we came back in 15 minutes. We just sat there like waiting, basically like strategizing, you know. And he came back 15 minutes, and like the whole auditor's office, the whole treasury, the whole like the whole governor's crew, basically like the clerks and everything like that, like practically bodyguards, as well as all the counselors involved in all those departments. Like 40, 50 people were there, and we had we had to like stand up, give a speech about exactly why we should get this $30 billion loan that the state just received because of us. And the only way, like, the auditor very cleverly spoke up about, like, the aviation past of Ohio, so like the Wright brothers and Dayton and stuff like that, and like taking the next, Shuck City wants to take the next step in pioneering aviation for Ohio. And then they're like, that's good, but like, what can it do for us? I'm like, all right, bet, boys, satellite. In the fall, Ohio State, Michigan game, we're looking at their playbook. And that got it for us. So we're using the satellite very specifically, only in the fall, to spy on Michigan's playbook for football. And that's it. $30 billion for that.
That's $30 billion ever spent.
That's what I think.
Honestly, I don't even think we need their playbook.
Their dog.
That's true. But yeah, so that's how we legally obtained $30 billion. That was the coolest thing that I did, honestly. Other than that, treasure, I mean, it was pretty fun, but it was just like, we have enough money for it. And
Lots of
like
numbers
that.
and lots
we
of
absolutely
signing off.
slashed retirement. That was fun.
Yeah, I had to sign off on
We
these
had to
guys
take it to the
do
county
it.
budgetary commission, and Jacob, the prosecuting attorney, was one of the people on that commission, and I had to go and talk and like convince him about it. That was fun.
They pretty much drained all the money out of like healthcare and retirement because this is a week-long thing. We're not retiring, so they took all the money on it, hoping that no one got injured. And they're like, "Yeah, we can just put this to our salaries."
Yeah, we
just to pay themselves more.
We took out workers' comp, health insurance, all the retirement, so we didn't have
Life
anybody there
insurance.
to tell us, So I took it very like literally. I'm like, all right, let's do this efficiently for Buckeye Boys State, not for like pretending it's a real world thing.
Yeah.
I looked at it from an outside point of view. I'm like, we don't need any of this. That's like
It was hilarious.
$200,000 that I can use for literally anything else. So we raised salaries by 5%, and then we put it in like operational expenses and stuff like that.
That's actually really smart.
I think
I thought
Just
so.
kill it.
I think the big
The council didn't even want me to increase their pay. We're like, we just want money to solve problems, please.
because
So,
at the city level,
it's
right,
gonna be
you guys
10%.
got a random problem every day, and you had to figure out how to solve it.
So we had a daily problem, and then we actually had a yearly problem that we solved at like the final evaluation. So we had 5 in total. Actually 6 because we messed up one time, but we solved it, so it was fine.
Yeah.
So we had 5 in total, and I feel like our city council did very good.
Yeah. See, I wasn't with the county much. Like I said, I had to split my guy between the county office and then the courtrooms, and I was pretty much always in the courtrooms. But the funny thing, I talked about to the city guys. So the big thing we did, we worked with the Secretary of State and filed a huge lawsuit again. Like you didn't pay your utilities, right?
What?
Did you pay your utilities?
The city paid their utilities, and I made sure everybody within our city paid utilities.
What? Our city didn't because we filed a lawsuit against the utility company because they didn't sign a permit with our county commissioner, so they weren't allowed to charge us. So no one in our city paid our utilities.
Nobody told our city that. What I
filed a
did
big
was like,
lawsuit against them.
so they gave them to our mayor to pass out, but he just handed them off to me.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Our mayor actually passed them out, but
Our
never told
mayor,
everyone.
he did fantastic. Like, he did a very good job, but there was just so much miscommunication between him and our evaluator. So we had to make up, like, we started with a leg down, and rather than a leg up. It was interesting, but we really pulled through. I'm really proud of us at the city level. Anyways, we just, like, had everybody sign off they signed their checks pretty much right away, and then I just took, like, 45 of them along with mine and the city's on the second day, and then the other 5 guys just did it when they could. But we had everybody pay it off. We just had nobody pay back their loan. Nobody. Not one. I don't even think the president of the bank did.
I talked to the city guys a lot, and on their first day, they were really confused about how to solve the problem. Like, they were just learning how to do it properly and, like, learning the parliamentary procedure of how to conduct a city meeting. So, like I said, I wasn't all a part of this. And I talked to him a little bit, and the funniest thing I heard that I remember was this boy named, Grunder was his last name. He would come up and be like, Grunder, that's me. And then we all called him that the rest of the week. and he said something like everyone was trying to describe it to me, and I heard it like this big fluster because everyone was talking about it and they were laughing about it. And he must have said like in front of the evaluator, right? He's like, yeah, we fixed the city properly, and we would definitely say that our city is now in the legal range of crime rates. We're definitely in the legal standard of crime rates now. I'm like, what?
That's so
The legal
I
standard.
think I know why we got the city flag now, because
On the first day.
I was gonna
we
say,
approved.
oh,
Then we
that
approved.
makes sense. Our guys on the first day, our meeting was 5 minutes long, so that's like incredibly short. On the last day,
They said
we
it was
ran.
supposed to be a while.
Well, on
Ours
the
was
last
only
day-
8 minutes.
We
long.
got kind of like screwed over a little bit on the last day because we were supposed to have 40 whole minutes to be evaluated for last meeting, and she cut us off. She said we'd have 25 to do the whole things, and then she could like give feedback and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which is understandable. She gave us 20,
Mm.
and we were like 2 minutes short of finishing the entire thing, but we still got the flag, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, our guys that are in like the departments. So the guy that was in charge of crime, the police and fire chief,
Yeah.
as soon as the second day hit, he just made random stuff up. So like we had 5 problems. We made up like 6 other problems to
Yeah,
solve.
to do stuff.
And then and the director of law was heavily involved with each one little thing. A shout out to Kyle Woods, director of law. He got the director of law like award for good citizenship. He's awesome.
That was just like said in your city meetings, right?
What was?
The him winning that.
They all stood up.
Yep,
in
yep,
the
yep.
last one, but
Yeah.
it was given to him.
So I
at the
definitely got a
end.
few guys I could show off a show.
Yeah, I believe so.
I know because Ebbing, right? Yeah,
Austin Ebbing. He was
our
Parks and
city
Rec.
treasurer.
Yes, he was.
Our
He was-
Parks and Rec. And
he was
got,
there.
He got the award.
Yep.
Awesome guy.
Oh, dude, he should have got, what was it, auditor?
Yeah.
He so should have had
Well,
that.
I voted for him, right? But the guy he went against was like he knew his stuff. Like when they had the
Wiggles?
Wiggles when they had
Yeah.
the what was it called, the gubernatorial debate. You know, he
Yeah.
just knew his stuff when he had the debate. It was insane.
That is true.
I have the video on my phone of
And Wiggles was cool too.
Sam
I
Miller's
talked to him.
debate, and all you guys listen to after this. Like I don't know if I can fill it on air. I'll probably text Sam honestly and see if I could just put it on the pod because he probably doesn't know it's recorded. But it's absolutely hilarious. He just quoted a bunch, like he would be like, and as the great poet Juice WRLD once said, he could quote a song lyric and all this stuff. His speech was hilarious. I loved it.
That's so funny.
But he ended up not winning the governor.
It was
race.
close, though.
Yeah, it was close.
It
He
was
lost by
very
like
close.
40 votes at like 672. So yeah, that was
Very
intense.
close. But
As for legislation that was passed, you have a couple that come to mind that are pretty interesting.
legislation,
Yeah, I definitely have the Fruit Fist Act.
yes, there's that one that was very nice. And then obviously we had the space station. And inside, like, the finer details of it, we sent multiple monkeys up there, I believe. I think.
You think so?
We only officially authorized a committee formation. But I think maybe Parks and... No, I can't remember who did it. Probably the city engineer. But he had it mapped out already.
Yeah.
There may or may not have been multiple monkeys involved to,
As-
like, operate the satellite.
As from a state level, like I wasn't on the Senate or House of Representatives, but they passed. So on the first day, they legalized marijuana, right?
Yes.
All right.
So,
Was it the
I
first
think
day?
that happens.
I think the
usually.
first or
I think it's
second
like
day.
every year.
I think it was like the third day because
Third day?
I had like 2 of my like closer buddies were
I'm trying to
in
think
the,
when.
the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they had a very difficult time. They each,
yeah, because the first day was probably like all the
they
struggles.
each drafted a marijuana bill, sent it to each other, and then I think they both got tabled because they both sent one to each other, so they
Yeah.
wanted to figure it out together.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like liaisons, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it was just a lot of confusion until they finally like second.
I know
third
it was
day.
like only until the 4th day when each city had to get a legalized distributor, right? So we start dishing out index cards that had Herb written on them, and then it was signed. It was signed and notarized, and then we would take these index cards and roll them up like blunts, and we just walk around the campus with them in our mouths, and we're like, bro, it's legal, it's legal,
It's legal. It's legal.
legal Herb, bro.
never once saw that.
That's
You didn't
hilarious.
see that?
Maybe I did, but I
Our
just
city
didn't think
rocked
about
that, bro.
it.
We all had index cards in our mouths. Like obviously we weren't lighting them on fire or anything stupid, but we would be like, yeah.
Maybe I did see it. I
Legalized
just
pot,
didn't
bro.
think about it.
You didn't realize
Yeah.
it.
No, the fruit and fist bill was very funny.
That thing was hilarious.
And shout out to the governor again.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a couple
Jackson.
times he didn't, but those were during like somber ceremonies when he didn't have it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
that was
understandable.
like outside of the simulation.
Yeah.
If you think about
yeah.
it. So,
Yeah. If you look at it,
Yeah.
and technically all laws were supposed to stop at 4:00,
right.
and he still did it on Sunday mornings. So like,
Mad
he was a
respect,
G
mad
about it.
respect. Anyway, yeah, shout out to him for being so cool about it.
Here's what the law was though. Anytime in a meeting, out in public, or like anything from a governor position, like something he had to fulfill, he had to hold a piece of fruit.
No, it was specifically an apple.
I thought it was just a piece of
I
fruit.
tried to get my buddies to push for multiple, and they did, but it just didn't happen. I don't know why.
Yeah, and the rule was if you wanted to switch hands, he had to eat the entire thing, grab a new one, and hold it. And he was not allowed to explain or answer any questions that asked why it was in his hands. He just had to like disregard them, act like they didn't happen.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there when anybody asked about that because like I only ever saw him speak after he was elected during the big ones.
Yeah.
But I know a few people from the city like knew that knowingly that he
And they
knew
would
that
ask
he
him
couldn't do it and
questions.
they asked him and he like I think as soon as he signed it he had ideas about how to do that.
Yeah.
Because apparently he did it pretty slyly.
He did it pretty slyly at the the graduation ceremony, or not, the Saturday night ceremony. Just the closing things on Saturday. Because remember, he came up and he's like, yeah, we've had a lot of, like, he was just recapping the week. He's like, we've had a lot of beautiful legislation passed. And
then
he goes up
took
right
a
into
bit
the
of
mic,
apple.
huge bite of the apple.
That
He's
was-
like,
that was
I've
good.
loved all these things.
That's true. Yeah, he was great. I'm glad
Yeah.
I voted for him. He was a great guy.
Yeah, he was a very good speaker. Very good at
I
spike
just-
ball. Good
yeah.
wrestler.
I might have voted for Miller, right?
Yeah. I voted for Miller, but
I would have talked to. I just didn't see him all week, but I
Yeah.
did see Kale.
yeah, that makes sense. Because he was in your dorm.
He was he was below me.
Yeah.
So I saw him and we talked at lunch and stuff like that. So
Also, Miller was in my party, and like he didn't follow party too strictly, but I was like, whatever.
yeah, I mean,
But-
like I said, yeah, it was very close. Would have had mad respect for. Oh, I do have mad respect for both of them.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I wouldn't have been too upset if
Made
either
it
one.
far.
Yeah, it's so funny. But other than that, I don't think the legislation was too buck wild.
Yeah. Trying to think of the other thing. I had something else in my mind that I wanted to say. Now it's gone.
I don't
Alright.
think I had anything too wild.
Luke, what legislation was passed at your guys' year?
Didn't you have a Death Star? Someone said they
Yeah.
had a Death Star.
Yeah,
If
You
we
guys,
had a
you
Death
guys had
Star,
the tornado warnings too, right?
Yeah, we had tornado
Yeah, because we
warnings.
all had to get
Those
pushed
sucked.
into the basement, bro.
Yeah, we sat in the basement of ours too.
Did somebody have a harmonica in your basement?
Yeah.
Someone had a harmonica in ours too. We were playing Folsom
A
Prison.
harmonica.
What did I
You
say?
just said
Monica.
Monica. Like the female snake, bro. Yeah, we had a Monica down there.
Jacob. Monica.
A harmonica.
What were you doing with Monica in the basement? Jeez, oh.
With 100 other
There were
guys.
108 of us, so absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's just sitting in the basement waiting for the freaking storms to
No,
go
we played
by.
Folsom Prison Blues. We sang
Oh, yeah.
Piano Man. We had a fun time.
Me and Isaiah were in opposite dorms, and both of us had a guy on a harmonica jamming out.
It was fun.
And our city had like a thing every morning we would sing Country Roads going to breakfast, and like we got good at it. We got really good at it.
You guys went to breakfast. What time did you guys go to breakfast?
So we lined up at 6:25 and left by 6:35.
When did you wake up?
At 6 a.m.
We woke
Rise
up
and
at
shine.
6:15 and we ate at like 7:30.
Yeah.
We ate
We had to
late
get up.
every day.
We had to get up early
Right.
to
Yeah. Which
be there on time.
Yeah.
Like he would start walking through the hallways because he wasn't allowed to wake us up until 6:15. So our counselor would have a huge speaker and be blaring it, but most of us were already awake and
right.
brushing our
Yeah.
teeth
We all
and
had
stuff.
like alarm set and stuff like that.
Like I'm telling you, you barely had time to shower. The only time you had to shower was you would get back from supper. You would have half an hour to shower, and then you had to be at your lineup for going to closing
Not
ceremony.
even. We got back from supper.
Well,
Well,
you guys
okay,
had
so
late suppers.
when we were done with supper, we were already dressed, or if we had to dress up. But basically, when we got done with supper, we moved
You guys were
directly
just
to a
going straight
lineup,
to-
and we went straight to the arena.
Yeah.
And then we got back, and we had like 25 minutes max for whoever didn't shower to shower. It ended up okay. Like by midweek, it was like half the people showered during the rec time if they had like relaxed jobs, and then the other like quarter showered in the morning, and then the remaining quarter showered in the evening. But
I had a lot of time always.
the first night was terrible. 50 guys
All
in
trying to do it.
8 showers. Not fun in 25 minutes.
We had an open floor below us, so people would go down and shower.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, well played. That's where I
Well
always took my
played.
craps too.
Nice.
We
Have my peaceful forever.
we
craps.
technically had an open floor above us, but it was the medical
Oh,
station,
yeah.
so we couldn't go up there unless we had a legitimate reason. Someone went up there with a splinter, I think, at one point, and got sent back down right away. It was kind of funny.
Probably for
Yeah.
a good reason there. on
Yeah,
that one.
dude, it was so nice to have a private restroom when I got home.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. I took my sweet time in there.
That
Sweet
dorm
time.
life. That was a good exposure to what dorm life's gonna
That's
be
what it's like
True.
if you
It
go,
wasn't-
if
it
you
wasn't
go to
awful.
college, if you don't
Yeah.
like stay home.
It wasn't
go to college.
awful.
Because
And-
so we were in a co-ed dorm, and this is just something I've noticed that was really funny on the first day, like a joke I cracked that, got me in with all the guys. You want to say?
Oh no.
So there's a co-ed dorm, so there's just like a bathroom that said men, there's a bathroom that said woman, but they crossed out like the beginning part of woman, so it just said men. But it saw the handicap thing. It's like, yeah, this one's for the men, this one's for the handicapped men.
Oh no. That's funny.
Did you
though.
guys? Did your counselors have a bathroom to themselves?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They had a big one.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say,
the one.
it was
I
only-
always went downstairs
I
and
was gonna
used the
say-
bathroom that they were using for
I
themselves.
was gonna say,
that one because you could lock it and everything.
take
It
a
had
small one at least.
No, they took the big one,
My
and
boy-
I only had
ours
one
took the
counselor
small
for
one.
our city.
I poked my head in once and it seemed rather large, but maybe it was just
That's what
perception.
That's what I did. So the counselors had their like own individual bathroom, and it was like a full room. Like when we talked about those shower rooms at Buckeye or at Boy Scout camp, it was like one of those. So I would always go down to the second floor and go in there, and because you could actually lock the door. So I had like the toilet, the sink, everything, a mirror, then I had a
all right
shower
there.
in there. So I just chilled in there. That was my process, bro.
Just vibe it.
That
Yeah.
would be.
I would play music
should've-
on my phone.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
I should have
Yeah,
just
we did.
snuck upstairs.
I had the system literally figured out.
I just went when I could, and didn't care if someone walked in. Honestly,
You had such an intense job.
I'm pretty sure that was probably the bravest I've ever been in my life was at Buckeye Boys State in the city office during the day, and I just had to go so bad, and I knew somebody was in the stall right next to me, but there were only two.
Ooh.
I walked in right next to that, and I sat down. I didn't care anymore.
Just had to go.
I didn't care
Sometimes-
anymore.
I texted you when our one guy was talking. So we actually it was cool because like we learned every day. Oh, this was a long one.
Oh
You
my
better
gosh.
hurry, boy.
All right, speed run
gotta-
this little story. So we got to learn every day from people that actually held real life county positions. Like I had a real life county prosecutor up from the Cleveland area
So
talking to
lucky.
me. So it's super cool. But he had to leave early on the Friday because he had 2 murders in his jurisdiction. So
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, yeah, I got to go take care of this, boys.
I gotta
Good
go
luck.
prosecute some
So
people.
yeah, that's what we did.
That's funny.
But dang, so much more to say. Like Isaiah,
I think we can have a whole
I
other,
think-
at least
yeah.
another half a pod.
Yeah,
we could
I
have
only,
it on
I only talked about the one.
I mean, you never even
Space
got
station.
to the gentleman's Purple Heart
No, I did
story.
not.
and
We can
that's-
bring that up in another.
was-
yeah,
we
we'll
can
definitely
bring it
bring
back.
that
We
up
can bring
in
it back.
another
We
one.
have at least another week of this.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
stuff
that
here.
man is an inspiration. I cannot wait to talk about.
But my boys from Merritt City, I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna ask you guys to watch
Yeah, it's
this.
getting sent to anybody I went to Buckeye Boys State with too.
Yeah, bro.
Mhm.
If you
Yes,
see
sir.
the very
Shut-
end of it, send me something like green tennis ball.
A green
And I'll know
tennis
you
ball
listen.
emoji.
Just kidding. But
Whatever.
but
This
yeah.
is officially the longest pod we've ever
Oh, yeah,
had.
for
That's
Yeah,
sure.
we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Devin's probably gonna be a little.
He's
little
gonna be
upset.
salty.
Devin's gonna think we
We're
put
gonna
his-
have to not add his section.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's too
yeah,
long. We
Devin.
can add his
He
section.
wrote
Devin, your section was too long, bro.
He added the section from Panama. We'll just post that separate. I think.
No.
No, we just won't
No,
post it.
you
We just
missed
won't-
Devin.
We're just not
Tried.
posting
You
it.
failed. No excuses. You told me this. I had food poisoning. No excuses. You
No
make the pods.
excuses.
You make the pods.
Yeah,
So,
You
yeah.
did say that.
yeah, Devin, imagine not coming. Honestly,
Wow.
Couldn't be me.
Pathetic,
Jeez.
bro. It
All right,
literally could not be me. We have the same attendance rate. Think about that, Devin. Think about that.
All right,
Oh,
ladies
no.
and
All right,
gents. On that
Glorious,
rather
glorious bombshell.
passive aggressive note.
that was not
We'll-
passive at
we'll-
all.
yeah,
that was
glorious
aggressive.
bombshell. I think
All right.
we're gonna call
Yeah,
that
we'll have to
today's
leave it.
video.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Have a good one.
See you,
See ya.
gentlemen.
Yeah.